Hey, my name is Mackenzie Kelly, and I'm a Toronto based actor and theater performer. Thanks for tuning into today's episode.
Welcome back, everyone, to another incredible episode of Chat with Dan. For today, what can I say? We have on the show the incredible, amazing, the badass, the superstar, the legendary, the incredible Mackenzie. Mackenzie, how are you today?
I'm great, Dan. How are you doing?
Fantastic. What better way to have an incredible Sunday to finish up an epic week that you're chatting with someone as badass as you? You know what I mean?
Oh, thank you so much. It's really kind.
Absolutely. And you better be ready because I'm going to be calling you a badass a few times. So
Okay, I'm ready.
great, great. Now, before we start, I do want to thank those who are tuning in. Thank you so much. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, follow. Also, on the description below, you're going to find all of Mackenzie's social media. Let's follow her. Hashtag Team Mackenzie because she's incredible. And without further more, let's jump in. Now, for those who don't know who is the incredible, amazing, badass, the superstar, the legendary, the incredible Mackenzie, please tell us who you are.
Well, my name is Mackenzie Kelly, and I'm a multidisciplinary artist, and I live here in Toronto, Ontario. So I started primarily in theater, and that is where most of my training is, but I do work in film and TV as well. So kind of like to jump all over the place.
There you go. So you're basically doing everything, a little bit from everything here and there.
Everything, yeah.
That's badass, right? Now, what can I say, right?
Yeah, what can I say?
Right. Now let's go back in time and tell me where this passion started. Like was there any specific moment in life that you were like, you know what, this is gonna be my passion. This is what I want to do in life.
So I was actually really lucky finding my love of acting really young. I started acting when I was 6. Um, I'm
Wow.
from a really small town, and there was an ad in the newspaper that my grandmother sent to my mom for a production of Oliver Twist. And I
Cool.
begged my mom to take me. It was like 2 counties away, like 45-minute drive. And lo and behold, I got in. I played a little orphan. I sang like 2 songs at the beginning, and I was hooked. My uncle came and saw it, didn't recognize me up there, and I was like, this is it. I found it. I'm a star singing Food Glorious Food on this stage. And then I
Absolutely.
never stopped.
There you go. I love that. I love that beginning. That's pretty cool. And tell me,
Yeah.
so time went by, right? But tell me like how you continued to challenge yourself and be growing as an actor at the same time.
Yeah, classes. Classes
Mm,
were a big thing. So moving, obviously in my small town, the room for growth wasn't as substantial, but
yeah.
outsourcing, like I did the Stratford School while I was in high school, and that was a wonderful experience. So for any young actors listening out there, definitely check that out. That place is wonderful. And then I moved to Toronto, and I pursued my education in performance theater. And I attended the George Brown Conservatory program, graduated in 2019. And then since then, I've been taking film classes around the city and trying to just work with as many people as possible, and people whose work that I really respect, who I think that, they have so much to offer as well. Just as much classes as you can and as many people as you can work with is the best way to keep growing.
Yeah, and also it helps you to at the same time to be creating like your own community, right? Like between the actors, which I have discovered that is like a huge important thing you need to consider as an actor. You need a community to back you up in everything, basically.
Exactly. And then like friends to collaborate with, like if you want to create something, or even just
Yeah.
to even somebody who you can call up because you've had a bad day and you didn't book a part and you're feeling terrible about it. Just somebody who can commiserate that with you and say like, that sucks.
Yeah.
And they get it, and you know that they get it is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it makes sense because if you talk it with someone who has nothing to do with it, it's gonna be like, okay.
Well, they're like, well, you audition all the time. You're like, no, I know, but this one
Yeah,
was really hard.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And moving a little bit here and focusing a little
Yeah.
bit on your creating a character creation process. Tell me, how do you approach into getting into the mindset of a character? Do you have like any specific, I don't know, rituals or techniques or like what is your thing before jumping into this whole journey?
So it's really different from like character to character for me. But one thing that I do universally across all characters I play is I try to find what makes them likable.
Mm,
Like what makes people love these characters, and even not necessarily externally loved. Like they could be objectively horrible people, but what about them makes them like themselves, makes them feel justified in their actions, what makes other people have empathy for them, like what are those types of things? Because I think otherwise it's so easy to pigeonhole yourself into, well, they're a bad person, they're a bad person, they're a bad person, especially in, evil roles, so to
Yeah.
speak. Um, but nobody thinks that they're the villain of their own story. Everybody is likable to themselves in
Mm,
some way. So in order to play them authentically and I think more interestingly, you have to find what makes them likable. It's like the first thing I try to do. And then other miscellaneous things that I
yeah.
attempt is like different song choices. Like what music does this character listen to? What kind of clothing do they wear? What do they like to do on the weekend? Like
Mm,
those types of things. But
yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, and is there like any particular playlist that you created for a character that even till this day you still listen to it to be like, okay, there's some cool songs about this one.
Yeah, there's one that I made for a character I played back in theater school, that I'll talk about a bit more later. His name's Cuddy Banks, and he's just this like jubilant, naive embodiment of innocence. So the playlist I created was like a lot of nostalgia music and very like
Mm,
upbeat and happy, everything is water off a duck's back. And it's such a good playlist to just relax. Like you
yeah.
need a bit of a boost that day. And I love it.
Yeah, that's incredible because at the same time it gives you the opportunity to discover new music, which is really cool. Because I mean, it happens to all of us, right? That there's a moment in which we're like, we need new songs to our playlist, right? We need something new to listen, and it's hard whenever you try to discover new. But the fact that you can use that for the yeah when you're in the process of creating a character, and at the same
Mhm.
time you can get a benefit of it, which is discover new songs here and there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely.
That's amazing. Now, is there a particular genre or type of character that you haven't portrayed yet, but you would love to explore that anytime in the future?
Ooh, I haven't been cast as like a complex villain in a very
Mm,
long time. More recently, I've been cast in more um, quirky, kind of outgoing, very bubbly roles.
mm-hmm.
And I would love to dig into something that's a little bit darker and a little bit more nuanced and complex. And I think it would just be so fun to explore um, the light in the darkness and what makes people that you might not otherwise understand or
Yeah,
get along with
yeah, absolutely.
kind of tick.
Yeah, but what I've discovered is with most of the actors that I've interviewed, they love playing the villain. They say
It's
that
so
it's
fun.
super fun because since you're the villain, you can do kind of whatever you want, and it's expected for you to do to go crazy all the time. So that gives like more freedom and more like yeah, like more freedom to you to do certain stuff, because it is expected for you to do crazy stuff since you're the villain. So
Yeah, and it's like very much, I mean, hopefully outside of your kind of normal behavior patterns. So it's feels like you're stretching muscles of yourself, that darkness that's in everybody that's like you don't let out.
yeah,
You get to actually just go there and be awful and it's so fun.
yeah, and plus it's in a safe environment. I mean, what else do you want? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's super
exactly.
cool. I love it. Now, have you ever had a role that made a significant impact on you, like personally, and perhaps how did that affected you if it did?
Yeah, so this is where I wanted to talk more about Cuddy Banks.
Okay.
So Cuddy Banks is a character in a play called The Witch of Edmonton. Great show. Um, but that was a really big role for me in my theater training process, where I kind of took a lot of the teachings that were being thrown at me throughout the past 2 years and got to apply them. And it was a big aha moment where
Mm,
that character I was like, oh my goodness, I get it. It makes sense now. Um, and it impacted me forever because it gave me so much confidence. Like I
mm-hmm.
found confidence in that role, which is so, so important for this career path that I've
Yeah.
chosen. Um, and I think so fondly on that part and that show and all the people who were involved. It was just, I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah, I bet, I bet. And tell me, like, how you managed to kind of break character and return to be the real you, let's say, because I've heard that that it's difficult sometimes depending on the character, and also depending how many times you play that character, right? So on your case, if that ever happened to you, that you play this character for a while, how you managed to kind of put the line on and be like, you know what, this is me now, and the character is gone, let's say.
So when I'm tackling particularly difficult characters or characters that perhaps hit subject matter that impacts me as the actor and
Yeah.
not just me as the character, I like to do a tap out routine,
Mm-hmm.
um, either by myself or with a fellow actor if they're interested in joining it. But it is literally like you finish the scene or you finish the take, whatever you're doing, and you will physically like high five each other and you tap out, or you stand in one place and you physically like step into a new place and you are stepping out of that role.
Hmm.
Um, and it's very helpful. It sounds kind of strange, but it works.
No, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, as I said, I mean, there's a lot of things that actors have told me that their process to break characters. So that's pretty cool. But also, it shows you that for those who wanna start acting, that there is no kind of a specific manual on how to prepare a character, how to break character. You know that there is a lot of freedom for it, and the best thing is for you to discover your own thing, which is pretty cool at the same time. Because for those um who are terrible at learning stuff on a book, let's say, or try to memorize something that is taught by a book, it I would say that it's more freedom to be like, okay, so I can do my thing. If it works for me, then that's fine, you know.
Exactly, exactly. I think everything when it comes to arts education is kind of a buffet, and
Mm-hmm.
you find the things that you like or that work for you, and you add them to your tool belt and your actor's kit, and everything else you kind of let go.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't
Mm-hmm.
mean that it's not valuable information, but it's not necessarily valuable for you.
Yeah, absolutely. But now tell me how you handle the pressure and expectations that come when you're about to play a character.
Mm. Honestly, I try really hard not to think about it
Yeah.
because I think if I focus too much on what other people expect from a character or want that character to be, it doesn't leave me the space to kind of experiment
Mm-hmm.
and discover those interesting choices that nobody else has made about this character. And that makes the role more authentic to me and more grounded and therefore more interesting. And people have a better time watching it because it feels more real. Like if I put their expectations between me and the character, all I'm doing is creating distance and not allowing, um, my authentic self to kind of
Mm.
shine through and take hold in that world.
Yeah, and the audience can totally notice that whenever the
Mhm.
character is played not in a kind of honest way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it can sometimes feel like too put on, very schmackty or inauthentic otherwise, and nobody enjoys watching that. Nobody enjoys playing that either.
Yeah, yeah, of course. I mean, I mean, whenever that will do, I mean, whenever they will do that, either in a film, TV show, or play, I tend to lose my attention on that character to be like, okay, so it's one of those. So you know, what else?
And that's not what you want to hear
That's
about
not
your
what you want. Yeah,
performance.
no, no, and that's not
Okay.
what you wanna, and that's not what you wanna expect after paying for, you know, to watch
This,
something.
yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah. Now, what would you say is the number one thing you enjoy the most about bringing a character to life?
Ooh, I would say getting on my feet and adding the physicality of the character, finding the way that somebody inhabits space and moves around, and that often includes every at least I think everybody's favorite part of like getting into costume. Like what am I wearing? What does
Oh
my
yeah.
hair
Oh
look
yeah.
like? What are
Mm-hmm,
my
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
shoes? Because you'll move so differently through space and carry yourself in a new way if I'm wearing a pair of high heels versus a really run down pair of sneakers. Um, and so it's like what does my wardrobe inform about the character? How does my footwear change the way that I walk? How
Mm.
would things like upbringing and social status and um, lived experience impact the way that I hold my shoulders, the way that I move forward in space, how I approach people. Do I make eye contact? Do I not make eye contact? And all of that is some of the really fun physical things that can inform so much of the performance, because I feel like so much is communicated physically
Hmm.
without the need for dialogue.
Yeah,
No,
don't know. Yeah, totally. Sometimes like those small details are the thing that could make an entire difference of a character to be, yeah, to people to actually liking it or to feel it, like intrigued about it, or something like that. And that's
mhm.
and that's amazing. Like whenever an actor goes that way, and to make sure that those tiny details that perhaps nobody will pay attention, but it's those details who can actually make something like more real, let's say, and not like a that you're playing somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're my favorite because
Yeah.
I feel like once I figure those things out, all the other things like the words and intention and all of that kind of follows
Mm-hmm.
it, and I don't have to think as much. It gets out of my brain and into the body, and it just happens, and it's so much easier and freer and fun.
Yeah, fun. That's like that.
Fun.
That I would say that is like the most important thing, to have fun. The other day, this actress told me that she doesn't like to consider acting as a job
It's
because
not.
when you start to consider acting as a job, as a regular job, eventually you will hate it. And I was like, interesting, but it does make sense because yeah, like whenever, I mean, those who have like a regular 9 to 5 or things like that, I mean, it's inevitable for you to at some point, if you see it completely as a job, that you're gonna hate it, or you're gonna be like, oh, not again. You know what I mean?
No, you've got to love this to do it. You've got to love it.
Yeah, I agree on that. Now, how do you continue to challenge yourself and at the same time to grow as an actor?
Oh, I think, like I'd spoken to earlier, just classes, lots and lots of
Yep.
classes, working with new people, getting into spaces that are uncomfortable, like where you don't feel like you are an expert in this or you don't feel like you're proficient. Get into those, because those are the places where growth happens. Like if
Yeah.
you are in a room and you feel like you're the best person in that room or the most experienced person in that room, then you're not in the right room, and you gotta get out. You gotta find somewhere where you are learning from somebody else, and somebody who you feel has more to offer
Mm.
you, puts you in safe situations. Don't put yourself in bad situations, but
Yeah.
challenging yourself to stretch the boundaries of your comfort and be like, oh, this is, I don't know, for example, like clowning. Oh, I don't know a ton about clown, but I'm going to go take this clown workshop and kind of put myself out of my comfort zone.
Hmm.
I think it's so important.
Yeah, I do agree on that. And you know what? Let's say that one day I call you and I tell you that I want to become an actor.
Hmm.
Now, here's the thing. I have zero experience, like nothing, right? So based on
Okay.
what what do you think it would be? I mean, besides taking classes, because I'm super sure that would be like the first thing, right? Besides taking classes, what else do you think it would be important for me to know before jumping in all crazy into this career?
Mm. You have to find good people.
Mm,
You have to, through, these various groups and classes and things, but you have to find people you like
yeah.
and work with them, work with people you want to have over for dinner. Um, because this is a career where your relationships matter. You spend a lot of time working on set or in a rehearsal hall with these people. And if you're not surrounded by positive influences and people you get along with, it can be really miserable.
Mm-mm.
And I would also tell you to be your weird and wonderful self, because we all have actors and actresses that we look up to and admire their work and performance and portrayal of characters. Um, and I find so often brand new actors can fall into the habit of trying to replicate
Mm.
performances.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And while I am a big advocate for stealing bits where you can and finding things that you love about them, you have to keep yourself in there,
Yeah.
because if all you're doing is trying to be somebody else, the best you'll ever be is just as good. But if you're being yourself, then your potential is so much bigger, and that's what makes you wonderful. Be the person that other people look at and say like, wow, I loved their portrayal in this and I want to steal that bit from them. Yeah.
That's badass. I'm just gonna drop the mic now. So
So believe in you as much as I believe in you.
there you go. No, but yeah, but it's true, and I think that goes with life also in general, to not be somebody else, because at
Yep,
some point you're gonna hate it, because it is not you, and it's, I mean, it's understandable that you are one that you, as you mentioned, that you're gonna take pieces from people that you admire here and there, but at the end make sure that those pieces are kind of helping you to create your own way, and not basically just copy and paste, and that's it.
exactly. Use those as building blocks to bolster
Yeah.
your wonderfulness because you're the only one who can be you and have your perspective and your funny little
Yeah.
quirks, maybe, I don't know, your facial expressions, your take on everything. So just be your authentic, weird, wonderful self. And the
I
right
agree.
people will find you and help you along the way. And don't be afraid to ask other actors for help. If you admire somebody, reach out to them. Most of them are so friendly and willing to like meet up for you with you to have coffee and talk industry or, you know, help with an audition or anything like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, and that's true. I mean, since I started this platform, I mean, most of the actors that I have the pleasure to speak with, they are super kind, super friendly, super cool. Of course, that along the way, I will meet one or two in which I'm like, that okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
but that is like, but that, I mean, that is something inevitable. It's gonna happen eventually,
Every-
right? So, but most of the time, I meet really cool people, and I like that, because it shows those who, like me and many other who are not in the whole acting industry, that at the end you guys are human too, and you are totally friendly, and not as perhaps some people think that, oh, they're actors, and now they think like, oh, they feel like they're superstars, and things like that, when actually no, they're super cool. So
Most actors are just trying to figure everything out, just like everyone else. So,
yeah, yeah, there was an actor once who that once told me, the best advice I'm gonna give to you if you want to become an actor. And I was like, yeah, yeah, what is that advice? And then he was like, don't be a dick. And that's it. And I was like,
yeah,
really? Yeah, don't be a dick. And you see how easy things are gonna be. Just don't do that. And I was like, okay, I'll take that into consideration. So
yeah, be somebody that people want to invite to their home for dinner.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And you know what, Mackenzie? I tell you what, if I ever become an actor and I win an Oscar or something like that, because that's gonna happen, absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
I'm gonna
obviously.
I'm gonna be mentioning you in my thank you speech, and I tell you what, I will even cut the trophy in half, so you can have half of the. I mean, I don't think you can't do that, but nobody's gonna know, so we're
But
fine.
it's your Oscar. You do what you want. I just imagine that scene from Mean Girls, when Katie breaks the crown up, like Dan breaking up his Oscar.
Yeah, I will do that, and then make sure that all the actors who have helped me to become an actor get the respective share.
Beautiful.
There you go.
That's
There we go. Let's make it
beautiful.
happen. I love it. Now, what would you say is like the most valuable lesson you have learned throughout your acting years?
Ooh, this one's taken me a while, and I
Okay.
still struggle with it. But it is being. It's okay to say no to things.
Mm,
That like your opportunities are not finite. There is
yeah.
no ticking clock. There is no limit on the amount of times that you're going to have opportunities. Opportunities will continue to come for as long as you choose to work toward them. And taking on more than you can handle um, isn't going to allow you to produce your best work and isn't going to help you grow. It's just going to keep you in survival mode and keep you just trying to push content and end up with you burning yourself out and potentially not enjoying what you're doing.
Yeah.
So that it is okay to say no to things. It does not mean that you failed. It doesn't mean that like you're a lesser performer or
Mm.
actor or that you're not putting the work in. And it definitely doesn't mean that you're never going to have these opportunities again or that you've ruined your career by saying no to somebody. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean it's understandable and it's reasonable for you to say no to things or to be like, you know what? I don't want to do any. I just don't want to do anything. I just want to stay in home, watching a film, and relax. I mean, it's okay to have like those days, which I do think that sometimes we forget that at the end of the day we're humans and we need desperately those days to kind of switch off everything, like throw the phone away and just be like, I don't want to know anything about anything. I just want to watch something or sleep or whatever that makes you feel relaxed and happy.
I agree. Totally. A day spent relaxing is not a day wasted.
Oh yeah, especially when it's like a cold day, a little bit of rain going on, and you're with your
Yeah.
covers, and you're like, oh, this is one of those days.
Like,
I
ooh,
got
I'm
it,
gonna
I
watch
got
that
it.
movie that I've been wanting to watch for months.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah. And then when you realize you put the film on it, but since you were super tired, you fell asleep.
You
You know,
finally got some rest.
I got some rest. Yeah, that's important to see. Yeah, yeah, because that does happen to me several times. I'm like, okay, I'm finally gonna see this film, and I get comfortable, and then lights out, and then I wake up when the credits roll or in the ending, and I'm like, oh, I already know the ending now. Cool, but I know
Oh
what I,
no.
you know.
I'm really bad for that as well.
Yeah, it
Sleepy
happens.
girl
Yeah,
in movies.
yeah. But as you mentioned, you are relaxing, which is the important thing. So
It is. It allows you to recharge and,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. Why
do
not?
your best.
There you go. Now, what would you say it's the biggest misconception that people have about actors?
Oh, that the job is easy.
Oh yeah,
Um, or or one that I got a lot was that like because actors portray fake situations and have the emotions behind these narratives,
yeah.
that we must at all times be acting. I know that a few years ago when I was dating people, I would get guys often asking me like, "Well, how would I know
Oh, if
if
you're acting.
if
Oh
you're
yeah,
telling
yeah,
me the truth? Like, what if you're only acting like you like me?" I was like, "That's insane. Why would I want to why would I want to do that?
yeah,
That would be awful. First of all, I'd have to spend so much time with you, and that just seems like a lot of work. That's a full-time job.
yeah,
Um, but also, like you said, actors are also just regular people. And it doesn't really benefit us to lie in our personal lives, especially in terms of like relationships and things.
yeah.
So I feel like that was a really strange one for me was a lot of people wondering whether or not I could be trusted simply because I had the capacity to act.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, and it doesn't make any sense at all.
No.
No,
So we're
no.
not using this for nefarious purposes.
Yeah, no.
It's just what I love doing. It's my job.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Interesting. Yeah, that phrase you said somebody already told me that too. That for example, if they were waiting in line for something, then someone would say like, "Well, it's just you're an actor. Go do your magic so we can, so we can so we can enter or do something like that." And people were like, "No, that's my job. This is my personal life. I don't mix stuff."
Yeah, it just doesn't work that way. Or I know a lot of actors who have a fear of public speaking, which
Hmm.
some people find to be very strange because they're like, "Well, you're an actor. Don't you love speaking in front of people?" And you're like, "No, it's very different. Like I'm a character. I'm in different situations, but I'm also a person. I have my own fears and my own insecurities and whatever it be. Um, and that doesn't mean that that just switches off because I'm an actor and I can just be like, oh, you're right. Now I'm pretending like somebody who isn't afraid of public speaking.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Now, what
Yeah.
were what? Yeah, yeah. Now, this next question is like, what has been the most weirdest or strangest comment someone has told you regarding your acting career? To be like, what? Like something which you were like, what do you mean?
I feel like it definitely has to be that guy who's like, what if we got into a relationship? Like, how would I ever know that when you told me you loved me that it was real? And I was like, what do you even mean? I'm not, what?
Yeah,
I don't get a benefit from telling that kind of lie.
yeah.
What benefit do I have of being like, haha,
I
I've
got
tricked
you.
you. All
Yeah,
of
yeah,
these months that I've told you that I care about you, I was acting.
yeah,
Ha.
yeah, yeah. Like years pass. You got married, and you're like, you know what? Yeah, all this 5, 66 years that we have been married, it was all a lie. I tricked you.
It was an experiment. I just wanted to see if I could. Like,
Okay.
what?
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Who did this to you, sir? I hope he's okay, wherever he is now. I
Yeah,
hope he's all right.
yeah, me too. Because that would be horrible. Yeah. Or perhaps he was acting too, and you didn't realize, and he was.
Maybe he was like acting at me and was it was like a reverse thing and I'm now the fool.
Yeah,
He
maybe
got
he.
me.
Yeah, maybe he was practicing his monologue.
I never considered this.
You never. Who knows, right? I love it. Now, if you could give one word to describe like that feeling when you're about to step on stage or in front of the camera, which word would it be? Just one.
Ooh, ineffable.
Okay.
But it's like it's too big to describe.
Yeah.
It is so many things like that moment before is the fight between me as Mackenzie being excited and nervous and scared and vulnerable because I'm
Mm,
about to present this work that I've spent so much time on and poured so much care into or that I really want to get because I think I'd be such a great fit for this part or whatever. And this new character like coming in and experiencing all these huge emotions and having to be just ready to allow those to come, and so that like space is so vast and
mm.
there's you're really holding a lot of things all at once.
Yeah. It makes you feel alive, basically.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, I like that feeling. Okay. Now, if your life were a sitcom, what would be the title of it? And who would play that fictional version of yourself? Now, I'm pretty sure that I can tell you which actress you're thinking of. I'm super sure that I can
Okay,
guess.
you tell me what actress.
So I'm super because I have asked this question recently, and 99.9% they always said Emma Stone.
Oh, interesting. I actually didn't pick Emma Stone.
Oh, okay. I
I
want
could
to hear
see it.
that.
I
Yeah.
could see it. I picked Sophia Lillis.
Okay.
She was in It and in, oh gosh, in this TV show I'm Not Okay with This, I think is what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and she was in the new Dungeons and Dragons movie and a few other things, but she's really wonderful. She's a fellow redhead. I think she'd be
Yeah.
a great fit to play me in my sitcom, which I think I would call I went to school for this.
I like it. Yeah, it sounds fun.
Yeah, it would definitely be like kind of a sitcom-y, and I think it would be funny. Like it would definitely be more of a comedy.
Mm,
Yeah.
I like it. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see myself watching that show for sure. Let's
Yeah,
make it
more like
happen.
yeah, more How I Met Your Mother vibes kind of
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, what about this next question?
Okay.
What would be the title of a film in which all of the characters you have played at the moment, they're all gonna gather to celebrate your birthday?
Mm. So I've played a lot of characters. I've been doing this for almost 20 years now, which is insane to say out loud. Um, and I would call this movie I'm Calling the Fire Marshal because it'd just be a gathering of so many people from I've had the privilege of playing people from so many eras that I
Yeah.
could only imagine the confusion of some of these characters that were written in like the 1400s meeting modern day people and
Mm-hmm.
and the kind of madness that would ensue. So the title would be I'm Calling the Fire
I'm
Marshal.
calling the fire marshal. I'll take it too. Okay. What about describing your whole career? But you know what? This time, either on a drink or a meal.
A smoothie. My career would be a
A
smoothie.
smoothie. Okay.
It's kind of like you take a bit of everything and you throw it in and blend it all up,
Mm,
and you end up with something wonderful and delicious, but potentially a bit unexpected. Because sometimes there's like secret ingredients that go into a smoothie that you didn't even think would be in there, but
yeah.
throw them in and you're like, wow,
I'll
that
take
was
it.
just the thing it needed.
And what will be the name of that smoothie?
Mm, the name of the smoothie.
I mean, I want to order it. So how can I call it?
Mm, the zing.
The Zing.
Zing. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds intrigued. Sounds interesting. Sounds fresh.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
There's definitely blueberries in there, cinnamon. It's gonna be
Mm,
great.
and a secret ingredient we don't know about.
I can't tell you.
Yeah,
It's
you can.
proprietary.
There you go. All right. I love it. Now, what motivates you? You know, we all have those days that we just want to quit. You know, it happens to all of us. Um,
Mm.
Inevitable. In everything we do, it happens. So how you manage to stay positive and optimistic and be like, you know what, I'm just gonna continue moving forward, not gonna let myself down for X or Y situation.
Honestly, I have a really great support system. I have wonderful friends and a great partner and great team behind me, my agent and everything. And so when I'm having those days, reaching out to those people and talking about what I'm feeling and what's got me feeling this way, and having them either share a similar feeling and feeling like you're not alone in that,
Yeah,
can sometimes be enough, or even just them reminding you that, hey, you're great. And maybe you're having like a bit of a dry spell right now, or things, or you didn't book this thing you wanted, or, you're feeling down about yourself, you got a bad review,
totally.
but like that doesn't mean you're bad at your job. That doesn't mean that people don't love you. That doesn't mean that your life isn't full. And to look at other facets of your life and to see it as a big picture. You
Mm,
don't want to lose the forest through the trees, so to speak, and to realize that there's so much about being an actor that has nothing to do with acting. It's about living life and learning things and finding new topics that interest you, because who knows, one day you might play a physicist and you'll need this niche science information, um, and just finding the joy through the simple act of living.
yeah, yeah, of course, of course. Yeah, that's very important too. I mean, as I said before, it happens to all of us, and I do think that whenever you discover that what you're feeling, it's normal,
Yeah,
the solution comes way too fast, or even your mind instantly is like, okay, and then you stop caring and you move forward, and then you move forward, right? So
yeah.
that's cool. I love it. Now, what do you think that could be the title for this episode?
Ooh, finding your way.
Finding your way. I mean, that's gonna be the
Yeah,
title for this episode.
amazing.
There you go.
Great.
Finding your way.
Finding your way.
We get a title. We already have a title. Love it. And my
Hot
last
dog.
question, my last question here is, what can we expect from you in the future? Hit it.
Ooh. Okay, so I just wrapped up a contract at the Gravenhurst Opera House, um, where I was in a wonderful pantomime called Citronella. But in the future, I've got a short film coming out that's hopefully going to be hitting the festival circuit, called Short Shorts. At least that was what it was called. Whether it will
Mm.
remain so is to be seen. Um, and other than that, you can catch me in those audition rooms.
There you go. Let's go.
There you go.
Let's drop the mic again. I mean, at the end, what can I say, Mackenzie? I mean, it's incredible what you do, but also the fact that you're doing it because you like it. You know, as simple as it may sound and cliche, perhaps. I mean, we all know that discovering what makes you happy and discovering a passion and make that as a way of living, it tends to be a pain in the butt. but you're making it happen. You are achieving stuff. I mean, I'm super sure that our next conversation is going to be about the multiple thousand projects you've been in. I mean, who knows? Because I do think that great things happen to those who are honest in what they do, you know? And you're super honest and you're passionate about it. And I think that's the most important part of it, that you're passionate. And that makes us, the audience, to be like, if we see you on the lineup for a play, TV show, film, then we're like, okay, then the project is in good hands. So
I appreciate that. And hey, I think what you do is great too.
thank you. I appreciate it. Now, I do want to thank those also who stayed here the whole episode and watch it. Thank you so much. Don't forget to leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this conversation. Join in if there is something else you want to ask, perhaps to Mackenzie, or something else you want to add. Let us know in the comments. But most important, since this episode is about to be over, on the description below, you're going to find, as I said at the beginning, Mackenzie's social media. Let's make her viral. Hashtag Team Mackenzie because she's incredible. And again, thank you so much for making this happen. Have an incredible upcoming week. Keep killing it, but most important, keep being this incredible, amazing, of a badass, superstar, legendary, incredible person you always are. And I'll be seeing you in the next one.
Alrighty, right back at you.